Welcome back. It's Yellowhammer Radio, Superstation 101 WYDE. Andrea Tice, Scott Chambers. On the show with us today is our local financial guru, Jeff Roberts. He's the founder of Jeff Roberts & Associates. He and his team of 7 advisors can help simplify your complex wealth management needs. They're exceptional financial advisors who have provided sophisticated financial planning and advice, helped out with many high net worth clients for 131 years combined. That's a long time. Jeff, how you doing today, man?
Fantastic. Beautiful blue sky. I love it.
It is.
It's a gorgeous
beautiful day.
Gorgeous day. Well, Jeff, good to have you back with us here on the program today. We got so much. We were talking last week, some really important stuff, and today I understand you've got some impactful things you want to talk to us about. And you want to talk about some examples of maybe people you've worked with and maybe how you've helped people out over the last month or so. Kind of help our listeners understand what it is you do there.
Yeah, I can give 4 examples of situations or cases we've worked on in the last month. One, for example, is a 29-year-old couple, fairly newly married, both in the military. And we basically crafted out a plan for them where within the next 12 months, they're going to be able to have 100% of their debt paid down. Wow. They will pay cash for the car that they need, and they will put 20% down on their first home, and they're going to be saving 15% of everything they make long-term towards retirement, and they're 29.
Wow.
And so you think about just that alone, you think those people are going to be set if we can just get a plan like that in place, which they're on track to do so. Met with a 60-year-old client that we've worked with for probably 17, 18 years, and showed her that if she will work for 6 more years, which is kind of a part of her financial plan, she will be able to retire at 66 in 6 years, and she'll have more income in retirement then than she has now, and she'll be able to accomplish her goal of traveling the world at least once a year, anywhere she wants to go.
Wow.
And ideally take her sister, which is, again, an accomplishment of life goal, but being able to show the client that that's possible and we have a target and a place that we can hit. That's a great example. We've rebalanced a portfolio with a client that has $75 million inside of it and designed an allocation to onboard an additional $5 million. And the 4th example is worked with 2 different clients within a day of each other, appointments. Both of them were 58 years of age. Both have been working with my practice for over 20 years. And both were people that we identified this July, ironically. They will each be able to retire at 58 years of age for the rest of their life with financial independence and dignity. And it was amazing because one of the meetings was literally we're slapping high fives and we're happy, and the other one was a very emotional meeting with tears of happiness where somebody is able to achieve a dream that they thought they'd never be able to do. Those are 4 examples in totally different directions of how we design a plan and help people to accomplish their goals in a wide range of situations.
Yeah, wide range for sure, both in age and it seems in income, because the first couple you used as an example, they're 2 people in the military, and that's not a lucrative business.
No.
But yet they're able to do some incredible things with your guidance.
And can contrast that to the client that has a $75 million portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, yeah, we work with obviously different people with shapes and sizes, but they all have a common goal, and that is to pursue something in the future that's important to them.
That's incredible, Jeff. And I don't think I've ever actually asked you this, but I'm curious to know, what is it that got you into the business, Jeff?
Wow, this is a good story. Go back to understand the history, we got to go back and talk about a couple in Knoxville, Tennessee. A school teacher that was married to a man that worked in the steel industry.
Okay.
And back in the day, when you worked for a company for years and years, you would retire with a pension. Mm-hmm. And these 2 clients, or these 2 people, I should say, retired in their 70s. Lynn and Gurley is their name. Well, Lynn he worked in a steel company, and he retired with a monthly pension and Social Security. And Gurley retired. She had her Social Security, and as you know, many teachers have pensions as well. And we found that clients in that situation would retire and have more money and income in retirement than they did when they were working, because the mortgage was paid off, kids are out from under them. Yeah. And here they were in the 70s and actually saving money. And they built up about $40,000 of money, which in the 70s was a decent amount of money. And they said, we want to set this money aside for our grandsons. And they had 4. And so they said they met with a financial advisor of sorts and said, we want to put this money away for our grandsons so that no matter what happens and if they screw up their lives financially, they'll have a big nest egg down the road. And so that is what was put in place. Well, as it turns out, these people we're talking about are my grandparents, and they are now deceased. And so fast forward years later, the story was I remember being told at 6 or 7 years of age that no matter what you do, you screw up your life financially, you're going to be a millionaire down the road with what was put in place. And I remember after finishing my business degree in finance at Sanford, and I was talking to my mom about wanting to see some of these documents or what this was that was set up, and this trust you're not even supposed to remember that. That's for you down the road. Forget about it. Well, I kept pressing, and long story short, they allowed me to sit down and look with my mom and my grandmother. My grandfather had been deceased at that time, and we looked at what was set up. And it had come to find out that this was nothing more than $40,000 that they had invested into 4 life insurance policies with a $10,000 front-end premium payment made into each of them. So 4 policies, $10,000 up front on the lives of 4 boys, which in this case were ranging from like age 7 to 8 or something like that, or 7 to 9. And so if you remember in the 70s, where was inflation and interest rates at that time? Crazy high.
Yeah.
So you might have seen like 12% interest rates. Well, sure, if you took $10,000 and stuck it in some life insurance policy and you grew it out and projected into the future at 12%, sure, that $10,000 would be $1 million, 60 years down the road. But what happened to interest rates?
The 80s came.
They came down. They came down dramatically. And so what happened was the policy was not growing at nearly the rate that it had been projected to. In fact, it was not growing enough to cover the costs internally of the insurance that was coming out of the cash. By the time I uncovered this, when I was just out of school, the policies were worth maybe $1,500 in cash.
Oh.
And it had eroded away this, quote, trust that had been set up for the grandsons. And I shared this information with my mom and my grandmother. And I will never forget, it was that life-changing moment when my grandmother got this information. And she wept.
Yeah.
She literally cried. And she said, how could this happen? How could someone do this? Why didn't someone tell us? And, statements weren't sent out on insurance policies on a regular basis back at that time. No one ever picked up and said, hey, interest rates have changed. Something's been adjusted.
Yeah.
And so I immediately saw the impact of bad service or lack of service, lack of advice in a situation impacting somebody that was truly trying to pass a legacy to their survivors, in this case, me.
Right.
And so that was the green light moment for me, where I recognized that there is a service that is needed. And I literally set out on this industry to try and make sure that never happens again. And here's the quick summary. I believe that everyone wants an amazing relationship with a financial advisor. They just don't know who to turn to. And my grandmother wanted a great relationship with a financial advisor. So she would have said she had a financial advisor, but obviously it wasn't the type of relationship or service model that led to good outcomes. Exactly. And so we created a company that has a vision that is to be the obvious choice for guiding clients to joyfully steward their resources. And until my last breath, I'm going to continue to make sure we protect clients from making the big mistake and be that obvious choice for them.
It sounds to me like you've got the one essential ingredient, and is that integrity, because you want the truth to be given to your clients about where their money's at, what they need to do, and all of that.
Well, thank you. That certainly is the objective. And when things like you mentioned, the Barron's recognition, 7 times, or Financial Times magazine recognizing us in the top 400, those things to me are nothing more than a symptom of us trying. It's national recognition for us trying to create a client experience that is second to none. And so our objective is going to be the same today as it was back then when I started 25 years ago, and that is just to make sure our quality of service is exceptional.
Wow.
Making the exceptional achievable.
Well, if people want to do that and, make the exceptional achievable, as you just mentioned, how do they get in touch with you, Jeff?
Look us up on jeffrobertsandassociates.com or give us a buzz at 313-9150, area code 205.
All right. They can come see you guys in person, 33 Inverness Center Parkway, Suite 300, right?
You got it.
All right.
Or in Tuscaloosa as well.
Oh, Tuscaloosa. Nice.
All right.
Very cool. Well, give Jeff and his team a call. Jeff, we appreciate it. And that was a fantastic story, man. I hate it that it worked out the way it did in the end, but it's great. Now you're able to work with other people. Beautiful story, Jeff.
I think it's wonderful for people listening to know that you're coming at it from a relational standpoint. Hearing the story of how people are affected and how you wanted to step in and help people. It's not about money. Money's the tool, but it's about people.
That's correct, and that relationship that we experienced early on has changed many lives because of the work that we do. So true.
Awesome. Jeff Roberts and Associates. Appreciate you being with us. We'll chat again next Wednesday.
Good to talk to you guys.
All right, Jeff Roberts there. Yellowhammer Radio. We're going to be back in just a moment live from the callks.com Heating and Air Studio.